Welcome to the top 8 grand finale and top deck list, where we're going to be starting this off on the new pack day of Yubel versus Rescue Ace. Now, this Yubel is playing Promethean Princess. Most Yubel players are not playing her, but I'm intrigued to see how good the card is in Luke Tyler's hands. Are you ready? By watching as long as you can, that greatly supports this video. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Opening of the Spirit Gate, starting this off, adding the Dark Beckoning. Dark Beckoning activates, searching our deck for another opening the Spirit Gates, or you could search for a Chaos Summoner. On top of that, we're going to Pot of P. I think another card a lot of people are not playing. We have the Call by the Grave for that Max C. I do not think so. Finger the C, negate. Now, let's look among these 6 cards we're revealing off the top of our deck to grab whatever we want. I think a big question is, if you're playing Pot of P, what should you banish from your extra deck? That's relevant, right? We don't need the Muckraker, the turn 2 Access Code Talker, the turn 2 Anguish, the Almirage if the Dark Beckoning were to get imperm, so we don't need that. We don't plan on fusing with the field with the Loving Defender, and our 3rd copy of Phantom of Yubel. Sure, makes sense. We have Valor, we have Promethean, and we have Soul of Rage, plus we have Phantom of Yubel, plus the Little Knight and Little Knight's about 6 disruptions. Poplar on summon activating to get negated by the Phantom of Yubel, forcing them to allow you to destroy a Yubel from your deck. We're going to destroy the Spirit of Yubel, triggering to summon our Yubel in defense since we don't have the Nightmare Pain. Grabbing the Diablo Star from the deck, Shokan this up into Linkuriboh. Triggering the Poplar to equip itself into the back row. We're not going to trigger our Promethean Princess off of that, but maybe we will in response to the Diablo Star. Do we Promethean? No, we say no to Promethean. We activate Chamber to reborn our Soul of Rage. Soul of Rage can link off with Diablo Star into a Little Knight to banish that original Sinful. Are we doing it? Yes, we are on resolution with the toggle on. You got to have that toggle on to link off of the Diablo Star, make Little Knight, banishing the original Sinful, and just like that, are they screwed or what? Yeah. Fire Attacker and the Fire Engine can only summon in response to a Rescue Ace being summoned. And then we added a Preventer. Preventer could have been that monster we summoned, but we need a Rescue Ace card in the grave to banish in order to summon that Preventer. So with Promethean Princess, the Dark Beckoning Beast line is better. Otherwise, you have to play Beatrice and Shayama and the Super Producer to gain access to your Yubel cards. But if you don't want to play the Shayama and use up the other cards in your extra deck, play Promethean Princess and the Doolittle instead, giving your Dark Beckoning play extra juice. Chaos Summoning Beast stuck in Luke Tyler's hand again for 2 duels in a row. That one of you're supposed to be searching with the Dark Beckoning Beast. We can at least return it back of the deck with the Terra Incarnate to make a Phantom of Yubel right away. And with the Eternal Favorite, if we negate any monster effect, I say negate, but you're not negating, the Eternal Favorite could then use the Yubel we summon from the deck to fuse with the entire field. But are we actually going to get that far? The Phantom of Yubel is good against monster effects, and Rescue Ace is all about the back row, contain, extinguish. So it's going to screw up our Eternal Favorite play to fuse with their fields. But they still did not get the Rescue Ace Turbulence to set up the back row. So what the heck do we even have here? We have Little Knight, and that's pretty much it. If they could draw 2, discard 1 if we add a card to our hand in any way whatsoever, that could be something, which they could draw into more hand traps. So they have Nibiru and Little Knight. Let's go. Nightmare Pain. We're going to get popping the Terra Incarnate, grabbing the D-Lotus. Probably going to make a Phantom of Yubel right now. Draw 2, discard, as I said. The Impulse can now summon a Preventer from the deck, so that is something. We're going to Fire Engine, summon Airlifter, add the Emergency, so we gained an extra disruption through the Impulse. D-Lotus, do we chain the Impulse? No, we're going to chain Little Knight to trick them to use it to then chain the Impulse. So we ensured that the Impulse would not be negated, so by chaining it to the Phantom of Yubel, but then the Call by the Grave is going to finger the Impulse, stopping him from summoning a Preventer. No Preventer, but you now do not have protection against Nibiru. And we are on summon 1, 2, about to be our 3rd summon. All right, all right. Third summon, Spirit of Yubel, but we already used the Nightmare Pain. Summoning a fourth, summoning a fifth, 5 summons just like that. Now notice how the Spirit of Yubel did not activate. Did we? We didn't already Spirit of Yubel. Yeah, we didn't. So I guess we played 1 Nightmare Pain and 1 Favorite. That's interesting. A lot of people are playing 2 Nightmare Pain. Anguish linking off of their monster to make an Access Code Talker. Access Code Talker is going to get poppin', or on the resolution we could Nibiru, or we could just still wait, because Nibiru's going to wipe out our field anyway. Yama Reborn. I mean, we're sitting pretty on that Nibiru. We know that we are safe. And now's the time for a giant token. How big is this token? 12,000 attack, 5,700 defense. Even after a Nibiru, we're still going to have 3,000 damage reflected, and we're going to be reborning the Soul of Rage, linking off in with their monster, and then the Phantom of Yubel for a monster negate. Yup. Wait, there's no Soul of Rage in the grave, actually, so that is not even a disruption. We just have Phantom of Yubel. And the Phantom of Yubel summoning a Yubel is double damage reflected due to the Nightmare Pain, and you do have to attack. Now, to get out of the attack, you could change your monster to defense, then you're not forced to attack, obviously. Okay, link this up into Anima to suck up that token, but the token's originally 0 attack, so you're not going to gain 12,000 attack. That'd be ridiculous. We now have Dark. Dark's likely going to be negated by the Phantom of Yubel. Yes, it is. Negate. Stealing the Access Code Talker is not going to happen. And now we have a Yubel that's going to double reflect 1850. You have to attack. Emergency into Preventer, send Preventer, activate to reborn a Banish Rescue Ace, which will be our impulse and attack position. We lose? No, we're going to keep on linking. That's game, that fields. We have to double attack on Yubel. Promethean Princess is 5,000 damage inflicted to us, so we can't end like this. We have to deal with that Yubel or the Nightmare Pain. Alert, add from the game, the Graveyard Preventer. Preventer, Banish, which could flip the Yubel face down. There we go. We're protected from the double damage reflect, and we're no longer forced to attack. As we now make a Salamangreat Raging Phoenix into the Zealantis, which is going to be banishing Yubel to return Yubel back in the field to trigger our Promethean Princess. Come forth. Yes. As we Promethean pop Yubel plus our own monster, which will trigger Yubel to reborn, I should say someone from the deck or graveyard. It's going to be a Terror Incarnate. Deck, graveyard, or hand, that is. Right? It just doesn't do the banish. Hand, deck, or grave. Yep. Zealantis going to be wiping out the Terror Incarnate. This is non-target, pop 2 cards in the field. So whatever you summon, we could just pop it on resolution. We're fine. We have a Yama in the grave to trigger. We don't. And we left up the Soul of Anguish here. Soul of Anguish trigger, grab back the Spirit of Yubel. That's so smart. Now when you declare an attack, we can summon it onto the freaking field just like that. I love it. Luke Tyler, very well done on that. Use Soul of Rage or Anguish to add Spirit of Yubel. That's the best use I've seen with Spirit of Yubel in the battle phase. Protect yourself from lethal. You have Shivaro being stolen in main phase 2, making Celine Abida, which could reborn a Diablo Star or an Effect Veiler, which, do we have them in the graveyard? Okay, there she is. I couldn't find her. Diablo Star triggering, grabbing the original Sinful. Boy, we're still making plays. Into the SP. Little Knight on summon, banishing the Spirit of Yubel off the field. It does not trigger unless you have the Nightmare Throne. That would trigger. Hydrant, grab in Turbulence. Turbulence, banish from the grave. Come forth and summon. Set up to 4 cards in the deck. We have negate a monster, pop a monster, flip a monster face down, banish a monster, or disruptions. 5 with Promethean Princess. Obviously, too much. Taking this into a game 3. Spirit Gates, grabbing the Dark Beckoning Beast, summon the Dark Beckoning, adding the Chaos Summoning Beast, additionally summon the Chaos Summoning Beast into the Yama. We have 3 negates on the Apollo USA, 1 negate on the Phantom of Yubel. We have a Soul of Rage in the graveyard to be reborn with the Chamber to then link off an opponent's special summon monster to then make a Little Knight banish into another banish into a Promethean Princess, and we have a Nibiru and the eternal favorite with a Yubel on the field. Not a Yubel monster, could fuse with the entire field, giving us 10 disruptions plus a Maxi. So can we go through 10 disruption? Probably not. Let's toss that Maxi in. Not going to even use Call of the Grave because there's other things to use our finger on. Now down to 9. Airlifter chaining to the Apollo USA negate to summon a monster from the hand. We're also chaining the Fire Attacker. We did not chain link block there. We could have negate if we wanted to. The TCG, it is a chain link block. It would actually chain link block the Airlifter from being negated by the Apollo USA. We're going to Chamber, Reborn the Rage. Rage is going to link off, so we're now down to 8 disruption into Little Knight. Little Knight is here. On summon, banish a card the opponent controls, banishing the Hydrants. It's just like, yeah, dude's got 7 disruptions left, and we're already getting cooked. So just like that, Luke Tyler with Promethean Princess, very well done. I think was able to use it in every single duel. Nice, at least the ones we were winning. So good job, Luke Tyler. Let's hop into the next match. Yubel Nightmare Pain is here. We're gonna pop the Terra Incarnate, which will not trigger. We're gonna max C right here, right now. Activating that Nightmare Throne, searching for our Dark Beckoning Beast. What do we do under max C? We summon a Phantom of Yubel, then end. Makes sense. It is a monster negate, and then the Nightmare Pain will force them to swing into your monster. When do we negate? What do we negate? We just discarded a Yubel from our own hand. Are you out of your damn mind? We have Albaz, but we didn't activate. We're going to special summon Cartesia, activate to fuse. We're going to stop that fusion summon with our Phantom of Yubel by destroying a Spirit of Yubel to summon a Yubel. Now, with regular Yubel, it's going to be double reflected damage. Uh-oh, Gimmick Puppets now in the graveyard. That is not good. Verte Anaconda is here. Anaconda still not banned. We're going to send a Branded Fusion to fuse with the Anaconda, making a Mirror Jade. We can't special summon for the rest of the turn, and we summon into defense, so we're not forced to attack on a Yubel. We banish Yubel, that will trigger the field spell. So Yubel's been banished. Throne's going to trigger, grab the Terra Incarnate, summoning itself onto the field. This will destroy all other monsters during the end of our own turn. Mirror Jade cannot activate. We have Retribution to negate a summon. We have Branded in red setting up right here, right now, our Gimmick Puppet play. We're going to make an Albion. We don't have a Bestial. We don't have a Finger. We got nothing. We're going to be taking the Gimmick Puppet, summoning it onto your side of the field, and Albaz on our own. Gimmick Puppet is going to immediately apply its continuous effect. And then we're going to fuse with your Gimmick Puppet plus your Terra Incarnate to make the Loving Defender Forever. Burn for 15. The Throne could add, but you can't special summon. The Throne is a good way to recycle your Phantom of Yubel's in grave if you'd like. Also grabbing your banished cards, grabbing them back. We have D-Lotus, which we can't special summon from the deck. We're going to grab a Spirit of Yubel, which could special summon if you declare an attack. But by then, the Mirror Jade will be activatable. We're done. We're out. Abelmod puppeting his way through the entire tournament. What the hell is going on? D-Lotus tributing itself to come forth and summon from the deck our Spirit of Yubel. Now, because of that, we do still have the Rage to link off with their monster into a Little Knight Banish, Little Knight Banish. We have Imperm Negate. We have the Chamber, which is not a disruption, but the Phantom of Yubel will be able to also negate a monster. So about 5 disruption. Let's go. Fusion Deployment going into our Albaz play. This is where we're going to have to Phantom of Yubel, or I guess just link off with it so it's no longer going to be on the field for the Fusion Summon, thus there's no Fusion Summon. This works out. So we're firing off the Little Knight early. Is this a good idea? Little Knight having nothing to banish in the field but could still banish a card in the grave. We're going to be banishing the Branded Sword, which could add back an Albaz that's banished. We're going to chain Call to the Grave onto the Albaz in grave. Let's go. We're at 3 more disruption. Imperm, Yubel, and Little Knight. Yup. End the turn, Chamber within the end phase, reborning our Yama, which will trigger on summon to add back Rage into the extra deck, which for some reason shuffled our main deck. I don't think that's what's supposed to happen, but it does anyway. Nightmare Pain popping our Squirmer to add the D-Lotus, normal summon our D-Lotus. D-Lotus send, and did not get fingered. Have we just toggled off? Are we just accepting defeat here? I think so, right? Fingering D-Lotus is pretty good, I would think. What else are we fingering? We're gonna pop our face down Nightmare Pain, and just like that, 6,400 damage. Yubel not able to finish the duel. Returning back the deck for our Phantom of Yubel. There is another Phantom of Yubel, and the finger, you could say saving it for the Phantom of Yubel is the better play. Sure. It actually turns off a disruption. We're gonna summon our Cartesia. Albion sending a branded fusion. We are negating Albion from drawing. I think Obito did this twice today, and okay. I mean, if it's working for Obito and Abamod surrendered, sure. Let's hop into game 3. Let's get to it. We have Abamod going first after losing game 2. Your eyes do not deceive you. This is Nightmare Throne in a branded deck. It's all branded, but Nightmare Throne and a Spirit of Yubel plus a Yubel. Any deck could play this. You could play this, he could play this, she could play this, everyone could play this. Why are you playing this? One Throne into a Phantom of Yubel. That's it. So if your deck loses to an Ash Blossom, like branded does, well, they don't really, but this will negate Ash. It will negate any monster effect, just like that. All right. We do have Call of the Grave to stop the Phantom of Yubel, but we're going to use the Call of the Grave onto the Maxi instead. Now, if we ashed the Maxi, the Phantom of Yubel could have negated Ash to protect our Maxi. I'm really trying to sell you on Phantom of Yubel. You all should use it. Use it. Do it. Nightmare Pain, popping a Dark Monster from our hand or field to grab a Spirit of Yubel, triggering Yubel to summon a Terror Incarnate from the deck. Mirror Jade's going to non-target monster banish the Terror Incarnate. Interesting. Okay. We're going to summon the Dark Beckoning, not negate. Additional summon the D-Lotus. Are we negating with the Phantom? Yes. Phantom negating the D-Lotus. We don't have another finger to negate. We're going to chain Gruesome Squirmer to summon. And that's just going to be another body on the field. Sure. To link off with and then reborn a monster from the grave if we want. Come forth. Yubel from the deck. We're going to use the Branded Banishment to reborn the Quem, fusing with the Yubel and your field. I love how it's not just negating Ash, it's also being used with Branded Banishment to fuse with the opponent's entire freaking field. Now, the Eternal Favorite, you have to have a Yubel and you have to discard a card. The Branded Banishment, we don't have to discard a card. So we got to negate a monster effect and then fuse with the entire freaking field. I love it. Burn for 1,500. How does Abamod have room in the branded extra deck? We also are playing Anaconda. So one Phantom, one defending lover forever, and wow. Abamod, that is great. Branded Yubel is here. Yes. Opening up at the Fire King Island, we just have Imperm. When do we Imperm? Volcanics, Imperm, negate. It's a second Fire King Island mate. I don't think so. Very well done. Fire King Sanctuary, then pass. Damn. If we destroy the Volcanics, then a card's going to be popped on our field non-target. So we do have to worry about that. Dark Beckoning into the Chaos Summoning Beast. Since we already have the Spirit Gates in our hands, searching for a Dark Beckoning Beast. Additionally, normal summoning. Royal Chaos Summoning. You have to play it if you got a Royal. Now we got Yama. Yama is here. As you can see, a lot of you are learning, if it's for the first time seeing Yubel, how important Yama is. Yama, ultra rare, Shavara, ultra rare. They were not reprinted. You do need them. Making a Little Knight. Little Knight is here on summon, banishing the Fire King Island, wiping out the Volcanics, triggering the Garunix and the Volcanics. We're going to chain Maxi, and which works out because we could chain the Garunix to it. We didn't. We did not. We're going to wait with the Garunix on field for a better Garunix pop, it looks like. Okay. but under max C. Now? Damage step? Garunix? No. You know, because we're under max C, the Garunix is a draw too, so it does make sense to not want to Garunix. Yeah, max C do be that way. We're going to finger that D Lotus. Cross out designate, negate the finger mate. By removing your own finger, you negate theirs. All right. Now, on the next turn is when we're going to want to be whipping out the Garunix play. Spirit of Yubel within main phase 2, set up the Nightmare Pain. Spirit Gates, add back the Mature Chronicle. Mature Chronicle, every time we special summon a Yubel monster or a monster that mentions Yubel, we gain a counter. And with the counters, we gain some cool effects. We'll talk about that once it becomes relevant. Squirmer come forth, pop in the Yubel, that counts. Summon a Terra Incarnate. We got 3 counters already. Further Shokaning into a Soul of Rage. Shivara, trigger, setting to the back row, Escape. I'm excited to see who's on Team Escape and Team Chamber between all the top deck lists of Yubel. Double Phantom of Yubel. Now we are removing 5. You see it, I see it. Wait, it's actually being blocked, you don't see it. Add a Super Polymerization from your deck to your hand. That's right. Search for Super freaking Poly. Now, Super Poly's not so good here until we have a Yubel in the field. Meaning if they activate a monster effect, the Phantom of Yubel will summon a Yubel onto the field to fuse the entire field with. All right, thus we're just gonna do nothing. Setting Imperm into the Super Poly column, which you could Imperm early to negate it for just the turn. Add back the D Lotus with the Soul of Rage. I think because of Maxi is why we are clapping up what's supposed to be the best deck here. I know this is making Snake Eye Fire King look bad, but we did hit them with a pretty deadly Maxi, if I think so. If I do say so myself, I think so. Summon a Spirit of Yubel, which will trigger the Cross Sheep since we're pointing to a fusion and reborn at level 4 lore from the grave. Cross Sheep, you all need to be playing Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep. Grab the Nightmare Pain. Further linking this up into our Muckraker. By activating Muckraker, we're going to be forced into Fiend-type monsters only for the rest of the turn. So before that, we're going to make a Nightmare Griffin? Okay. Nightmare Griffin is here. Discard Eternal Favorite to draw a card and set the Eternal Favorite. Return back to summon our Phantom of Yubel. Nightmare Pain, pop the Yubel, grab the Grave Squirmer. To battle we go. Reflect, not 200 damage first. We're just going to swing into it. Now, can Phantom of Yubel work in the damage step? No, it does not negate the activation, but any card that special summon onto the field cannot activate unless it's linked. And there's no way to be linked right now. So let's go. Your Runix can't activate, but the Kirin is going to summon the Fire King avatar. And the main priority out of everything here was to take out the Super Poly. That's how much we fear the Super Poly. Now, the Griffin could be reborn if we have a Yama in grave, which we don't. Yama is activatable to reborn. A lot of people are going to play just one Yama. Is this the... Okay, Sunlight Wolf. We're not going to rank 8 Exceeds, which cannot activate. Sunlight Wolf cannot activate, but it will be activatable if we summon to where it's pointing to. Now, both are activatable. Nicely done. Chainlink block on the Diablo Star from the Phantom of Yubel, but the Effect Veiler will still negate. No original sinful play for you. We're going to add back a fire that we cannot summon this turn. We're not going to get popping. We can't do it. We have to. We have to attack. It looks silly, but you got to do it. The Nightmare Pain forces you. Use the effect, Reborn Yubel. Okay. Probably have the Yubel be linked is generally, it'll be okay if you are trying to activate the effect of Double Reflect, but otherwise you don't have it linked, so you don't have to tribute or destroy itself during the end phase. We're going to use the Eternal Favorite to fuse with the entire field, burn for 1500. Lethal damage of 25, just like that. Nicely done. So why not chain Kirin? Well, if you chain Kirin, if this was even within the main phase of activating the fusion, Kirin would pop, summoned, and the Kirin would have been fused with. Damn. I don't know. What do y'all think about Loving Defender? A lot of people are on the fence about it. I think probably the majority are not going to be playing it, but I think they should. We have Oak in the Link Karibo, which is not an actual play. What the heck was that? We're going to send Link Karibo to summon from the deck, and Ash, we're not going to be maxing into a Gamma. We're afraid of it. Also, the Triple Tactics talent will be activatable, but we're not playing around Triple Tactics talent. Otherwise, we would have used it in the draw phase. And now, this is where we have to decide with the Triple Tactics talent. Do we look at that hand or draw two? By looking, we get to return a card back. So let's speed this up. We're going to make a Masquerena and then end. This is what you do under Max C if you get Max Seed as a Snake Eye player. Divine Temple, set up the Masquerena, and you're good. So we're going to be taking a gander at this hand, returning back the Nightmare Throne. Even without Nightmare Throne, we got that D-Lotus, we got Nightmare Pain, we got Spirit of Yubel. So we're going to imperm in the draw phase onto the Masquerena. Now, the Flameburst is still summonable, so we still have a Veiler imperm, but the Flameburst itself is not considered disruption. And there's no Promethean in the grave. So in response to the D-Lotus, we're going to imperm D-Lotus. Now, there's a lot of ways to play around the D-Lotus getting impermed. It's kind of a high-risk, high-reward play that could pay off really well. And the way to play around it is if you can get another body on the field, you could Muckraker, simply reborn it from the grave, and then activate it. You could Grave Squirmer, banish, summon it from the grave. You could Yama, banish from the grave, reborn the D-Lotus. There's a lot of ways to get to that D-Lotus. And we do have a way to Muckraker if we want to. We can. We can Nightmare Pain, pop Yubel, summon a Yubel. We got plays. So we are going to chain Flameburst in response to the Nightmare Pain. Sure, this is not turning into any form of disruption here. Taking out the Spirit of Yubel, grabbing the Grave Squirmer, summoning Yubel onto the field. And then we have through Muckraker and the Grave Squirmer, two ways to get to that D-Lotus. So if we reborn it and it gets Veilered again, we could then resummon it again. We could do it twice. So we're going to grab the Ponix here through the Ash. We're going to summon the Squirmer, pop the Yubel, summon for the deck a Terra Incarnate, link this off into Cross Sheep. So it looks like we're going to use the Squirmer to reborn it instead. The Cross Sheep is also another way. All the ways I mentioned, I didn't even mention Cross Sheep as one of the other ways to reborn it. So we are going to further Shokan into the Muckraker, which we have Squirmer or Muckraker to reborn our D-Lotus. And this is why a lot of people are saving their imperm for just the Spirit of Yubel. But it's generally to stop the Nightmare Pain, which we already have. Spirit of Yubel, setting up a Mature Chronicle. Mature Chronicle is going to count how many times we summon a Yubel monster. Special summon, that is. Further Shokaning into a Yama. Now, Shavara loves popping Spirit of Yubel, which is already on the field here. Shavara get popping, and it's worth noting, the Cross Sheep ate a Disruption. It did its job. Eating up a Disruption is great. Link Karibo to reduce the Yubel to 0. No. We're going to attack with Muckraker, reflect 2,500 damage, wipe out the negated Masquerena. Goodbye to the Oak. Is Yubel the best deck? I mean, this is looking pretty damn good. I don't know what to think anymore. We're going to link off the Yubel and Yama into our Soul of Rage. Use the Muckraker to reborn Yama, discarding the impermanence to make a Nightmare Griffin. Nightmare Griffin could discard Ash if we wanted to set the impermanent, draw a card. Thinking that maybe would have been worth it. We're going to use Skybridge to wipe out the Muckraker. Sure. Now we're in a spot where we could summon our Link monster into that extra monster zone and will be considered linked. Otherwise, at the moment, Flameburst cannot activate. Can't push a card back. We are normal summoning Ponix, which is activatable. It has to be special summon monsters only that it can activate. Summon the Link Karibo, Shokan into Little Knight. Little Knight is in fact activatable. Flameburst trigger, Little Knight banish the Griffin, and we have no way to stop it. Had we had a Yama in the graveyard, it could have been a way to reborn the in-grave Griffin if it were to be destroyed instead of being banished. Ash is activating, Oak activating. We have the Soul of Rage to link off of the opponent, but didn't we already use our... No, we did not use Little Knight, so we're going to be Little Knight being able to banish, chain, banish. When are we ashing? We already have access to the Flameburst in graveyard, so Ash is just not that good. Forcing out the early act of... How is Rage on the field? How's the Shavara here? Are we locked into Fiend-type monsters only? Only if summoned through its own effect, you can't summon except Fiend monsters. So we can't go into our Little Knight if the Shavara is on the field through its own effect. I forgot how it was summoned. Well, do I really have to dig? Does anyone know? Was it summoned through its own effect? Were we locked out of Little Knight through the Shavara? How did we get the Shavara? It's too deep. I'm assuming that's, yeah. We pop Spirit of Yubel, we summon Shavara. Shavara is there through its own effect, thus we're locked in a Fiend only. We could not summon Little Knight. Yeah, that's pretty deep. So you do have to be careful about that. Shavara is a Fiend monster only lock, which it's okay to summon your Nightmare Griffin, but then your own Rage is not going to be able to go into a Little Knight. Opening of the Spirit Gates made, grabbing the Dark Beckoning. Dark Beckoning, search our deck for the Chaos Summoning Beast. This is the only way to go into a Yama if you are opening up with the Spirit Gates. Discard Spirit, and now we're getting Max Seed. So it's a draw 2 if we Phantom of Yubel. Spirit of Yubel, set up into the back road, Nightmare Pain, Nightmare Pain. Are we popping Spirit? We're not going to summon Yubel from the deck, right? Oh, we are? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Lemon, what are you doing? What the heck? Calm down, you're under Max C. It's game 3. What are you doing? This lad has gone mad. What? I don't see Max C. What Max C? This dude is seeing red. He is fully enraged. He's going full Maxi challenge, turn 1. Are we setting up a Nightmare Griffin and just hoping that they can't subversion it into the back row? I don't know what we're doing. Lemon, top 8 game 3. You still had a chance. What do you mean you're going for it? What is this? Yama? Okay. Imperm, negate the Yama. We can't even Phantom that. 15 cards in our hand. Oh my gosh. They can't add Poplar if we make them draw all of their Poplars. I think that's the reasoning, right? They can't do it. So they just have them draw all the Poplars and we're fine. All right. So, special summon monster, 17 cards in hand. Special summon monsters cannot activate unless they're linked. And they could very easily be linked if they just summon right here. That's it. They're now linked. Yep, so Diablo Star won't be able to activate, obviously, nor will a Flame Burge. But if our linked monster then links into our Flame Burge or our Diablo Star, then it will be activatable. Beyond that Floodgate, we have an Escape of the Unchained, which is not activatable. Do we have a Yama to Reborn the Shavara? So if any of our cards get destroyed, we could Reborn to then Escape Pop. So a super conditional disruption, plus an Impermanence, plus a Phantom of Yubel, plus our Floodgates. So about 4 disruptions, 3 plus a Floodgate. And the Floodgate's now gone. So we're now down to 3 disruptions with a super conditional one. Imper, negate. I don't see Kirin in your 15 card hand. How? 3 Kirin in your deck, 15 cards in your hand, and there's no Kirin? Not even a cross-out designator. No cross-out, no Kirin. Sure. Okay. We're now down to Phantom of Yubel. Phantom of Yubel could have stopped the Kirin, by the way. So, well, but then we could have fingered the Phantom of Yubel to stop the Kirin. We have Diablo Star, Poplar triggering, Phantom, and Escape. Can only escape if one of our cards get destroyed. We're going to send the Linkuriboh, summon the Ponix. Mary could maybe time out from this being too complicated. Possibly, maybe. I don't think so, though. We're going to be fingering the Phantom of Yubel, stopping that negate, thus all we have left is an escape, which Mary has to turn on themselves by destroying a card on the field. Only if we destroy something will the Yama trigger to Reborn a Shavara to pop with escape. And that's all we had. Lemon is just like, you know what? We're not going to even wait for them to maybe time out, maybe trigger my Yama, which is not going to really even be doing that much. All right, I guess the subversion is what got us. If it weren't for subversion, then, you know, think about it. How do we get to subversion? Diablo Star has to search it. Diablo Star can't search it if you're going to be Nightmare locked. A normal summon Poplar would get impermed, and then that would stop it, right? So we had the ways to stop the search for subversion. We didn't have the way to stop them opening up subversion out of 17 cards. So what's the math on that? 17 out of a 40 card deck. Was the math in Lemon's favor to take the maxi challenge of if they don't have subversion, we win. Begin. And now let's get to it. We just have an Ash and Impermanence to play around. We're going for that hard summoned Phantom of Yubel using our hand. We're going to Spirit Gates into the Dark Beckoning. If this gets impermed, we could just link it off into an Amirage, then we could still summon our D-Lotus. We're not going to imperm the D-Lotus. We're going to be imperming the Spirit of Yubel. There you go. Had we impermed the D-Lotus, we just Almirage, discard, reborn it. That would be another way to get it back on the field, activating it again. We could have ashed it, though. Interesting that, you know, the Phantom of Yubel stopped in the ash, so the imperm was the only way. We got the Yama, discard the Spirit Gates, reborn the Spirit. Come forth, add back the Spirit Gates. We're not popping Spirit of Yubel. Interesting. Anguish, linking off with the Oak. Shokan into Access Code Talker. Surely we're not performing lethal damage, right? If there's a Yama in the graveyard, this is lethal damage. So we have Zuli Libo with the most aggressive version of the Yubel deck today, being able to definitely lethal on open fields. It doesn't sound like a big accomplishment, but it is definitely a different way to play the deck, and it's paying off. The question is, anytime Zulibo wins with Access Code Talker and the Anguish, would he have won the match anyway? Would that duel have resulted in a win had we made an Apollo USA, given the opponent another turn? Probably. That's what I'm convinced of at the moment, that the Access Code Talker and Anguish is not actually winning him games that he would not have won otherwise. Max C in the draw phase, playing around that Diablo Star, playing into a Gamma, which we had no way to stop. And let's speed this up. What are we doing under Max C? Onyx, set up with a field spell, search a Garunix, then end, and don't trigger the Garunix is what I'm thinking. Yeah. Add Garunix, pop in Diablo Star. We have disruption through the Garunix, the Imperm, and the Skyburn. So triple disruption that we have to play through. Let's do it. Hard summon Phantom of Yubel is here. Normal summon our Dark Beckoning, Imperm, negating from searching the Spirit Gates that we already have in our hand, Jebaited. Now, if we activate the Spirit Gates, we could chain the Sky... Ooh. Really? Okay. We're taking out the Phantom, summoning Garunix. Garunix popped the Beckoning Beast. Wow, we just dumped all three of our disruptions just like that. And here's the Spirit Gates. Grab the Dark Beckoning, which we already performed our normal summon. So we're going to be discarding Spirit of Yubel to summon Spirit of Yubel to then set up our Nightmare Pain. Nightmare Pain, pop the Spirit of Yubel. And you got to be careful with how you summon your monsters. In defense at 1700, you're not having 3900 damage reflected back to you through the Yubels. So that's definitely something a lot of people are going to have to learn. Re-choosing the monsters' battle positions, that is. Grave Squirmer, Reborn the Spirit, Shibara get poppin'. First going to summon our Phantom of Yubel for the Shokaning. And remember, Zalibo is the aggressive deck. So don't we have game, right? Zalibo, Access Code Talker. Maybe I'm sold on this way to play because damn, this is a very cool way to play, a super aggressive way. We keep on winning going second. This is something. This is the way to play, huh? For the Shokaning into the Unchained Abomination, and that's it. GG. Wipe out the back row. Keep on going. I mean, we still have the Garunix activatable, right? If no, it was already summoned that turn. Jesus. Lethal damage. Yubel quickly lethaling opponents. Why not? I want to see how well. We have not seen Yubel versus Yubel yet in today's tournament, but we're now going to in the top 4. Let's go. Oh, you have physical ownership of your favorites for collector reasons. That's good. We got D-Lotus with no disruptions whatsoever. This is the Nightmare Throne combo, right? Just one Nightmare Throne, grabbing the D-Lotus, summoning Spirit of Yubel, Nightmare Pain, pop the Spirit of Yubel. %100% what I posted on YouTube today. This was my one throne play. This is what you do. We have pop a card in the field and then reborn the Rage with the Yama. We have Link Off and then make a Little Knight and then banish another card through the Little Knight. Phantom of Yubel, negate a monster effect. And then we have Apollo, USA, triple negate. That's 5 disruptions plus the Ash Blossom plus a Max C. So 9 disruption plus Max C. Good luck. And then you have to attack into the Phantom. You can't attack into Rage. You can't attack into Apollo. Let's go. You did watch it. Thank you. Max C in the draw phase. We're not going to even finger it. You got to hold that finger for the Phantom. We're going to Bonfire for Ash. Ash is here. Apollo negate. Negate. All right, sure. Can't link off with it yet. And you do want to pop with the escape first if you can. Ooh, this is scary. Triple Tactics talent, taking control of the Apollo. We're not going to even use its effect. We're just going to link off with it, going straight into a Little Knight. Uh-oh. So we're going to have to do nothing because we were just banishing the field spell. Then you have to attack into the Phantom of Yubel. You can't even threaten the Soul of Rage even if you were not big enough. We're going to use Little Knight, but we could chain Escape or just use Phantom of Yubel to negate the Little Knight. We're going to Max C. Do we even Ash this? I guess we do. Why is our Call by the Grave set, by the way? We set it and then we decided we want to make different plays. I think we were setting to end our turn, but the Nightmare Pain says, no, you don't get to end your turn. You have to attack. Now, we could have went to main phase 2, then summoned Little Knight, then made our plays, then set the Call by the Grave, but, you know, we had to swing in. So we're going to pop the Spirit of Yubel, which we don't have to use its effect, and we didn't. We're going to link off into our own Little Knight, which should not be banishing that Call by the Grave. That should not be set. Okay. And we're now going to be summoning a Yubel, and just like that, now back to us. Holy crap. Yubel is clapping up Snake Eye Fire King today. I have to admit, I think I was wrong. I was thinking Snake Eye Fire King's a little bit better. Yubel is looking to be better at the moment. I'm not going to say it's definitive, but at the moment, it does look better. Come forth, Phantom of Yubel. Does that mean Snake Eye Fire King's not going to get hit anymore? Phantom of Yubel, Yubel itself is going to get only stronger. We're going to get Varudras, which makes it better. We're going to get Fiendsmith, which makes it better. Now, Fiendsmith is used in Snake Eye, but not Snake Eye Fire King. Axis Code Talker. We are in main phase 1. And lethal damage already. Zalibo knows how to end a duel. Zalibo ends it. You don't get an extra turn against Zalibo. Axis Code Talker, Abomination, Anguish. 3 cards that a lot of, I'm not going to say the majority, but a lot of the other Yubel players are not playing all 3 of those cards. Divine Temple setting up in Ash to then end. That's it. So that's our turn 1. Oh my gosh, the pain. We have Imperm, we have Ash, we have Nibiru. We're going to chain Max C, which we could add. Ooh, we're not ashing. Yeah, I mean, we're not really special summoning much. I mean, well, are we adding a Poplar, then summoning Poplar? No, we're just going to add Oak. Nibiru is a draw 2 under the Max C, but still, it'd be better if we save the Ash for something else, like the D-Lotus, which the Crossout Designate will negate the Ash Blossom, which the Call by the Grave will now finger the D-Lotus. Negate. Nightmare Pain has nothing to destroy. We need a dark monster to destroy to search our deck. So what do? We just have Ash. We just have Imperm. That's it. Now, Imperm in the Imperm column makes sense if you don't have a monster yourself, but I'm seeing a lot of people summon a monster, set Imperm in the Imperm column to negate their back row card, but then their back row card is an Imperm themselves. So you're going to Imperm their play. They're going to Imperm your monster you summon, negating your Imperm. Doesn't make sense. Ash, send the field spell as the Ash negates the Ash. Negates. Now we have Oak. Oak could follow up Reborn the Ash, which is going to get its full effects here unless the Imperm negates. Really good Imperm negate, a huge one. The whole duel would have been done had this effect gone through. Summon Ash, add Poplar, special Poplar, summon a Flameburst from the deck with the Oak. Holy moly. Now we still have Max C, Imperm, and Nibiru. The Ash will be able to negate the Max C. We're having a Dark Beckoning Beast with the Nightmare Throne. That is wild. We're going to Imperm negate the Dark Beckoning Beast. Sure. We could follow up Nightmare Pain, search for a Yubel to make a Phantom of Yubel. And it looks like that's exactly what we're doing. Search a Spirit of Yubel. We did not return it back in the deck for a Phantom of Yubel. We're going to keep it in the hand for when they attack. We special summon it. That's interesting. Very interesting that we did not Phantom of Yubel. Discard Nibiru because we're thinking that's never going to go off. Diablo Star, setting up the original Sinful, which we have the Ash Blossom for. And just like that, negate the original Sinful mate. Now, there's no way Oak's attacking with when we know there's a Spirit of Yubel in the hand. No. No, no, no. Into defense, of course. End our turn. Let's go. Now, what we have here is we're going to be returning back the Incarnate and the Beckoning Beast to make a Phantom of Yubel. It's now too late to Max C. That's it. So I've been talking about when do we Max C when a Yubel deck can summon a Phantom of Yubel without starting a Chain Link, which immediately is going to be able to negate the Max C. Now we have the Yama. Let's speed this up. Squirmer could reborn the Spirit of Yubel. We could return the Yubel back in the deck if we had another card to return it with. We don't, so we're just going to reborn the Yubel through the Spirit of Yubel being popped. Add Terra Incarnate, come forth and summon. We could reflect 200, 400, 600 damage, but Zalibo does not care about reflecting damage. We are all about lethal damage. Going into the Abomination, we have 5,000 damage, not going into the access code talker for game because we didn't have game. Main phase 2, Soul of Rage, setting up a ton of disruption. We have Escape, we have Rage, we have Little Knight, we have Phantom of Yubel, 5 Disruption. 4 Disruption. Original Sinful after negating the Phantom of Yubel, adding a Ponix. How do we disrupt the Ponix? We don't have our negate no more. We could use Escape of the Unchained to chain pop the Fire King Sanctuary, putting us down to 3 disruption, as the Unchained Abomination could trigger to also pop the Ponix, and the Yama reborn the Rage back in the field to get ready to link off with the special summon monster. Rage also triggering to add Shavar in the graveyard back to our hand, and we're gonna hopefully draw into something good off of that 1 draw Max C. What can we draw into? A Garunix. Draw Garunix, you pop Ponix, trigger Garunix, summon Garunix, activate Garunix, pop Kieran, reborn, pop a card in the field. It could happen. Probably not. Garunix is a one of. Nope, nothing. Damn. Imperm, because why not? Negate that Rage, end the turn, and just like that, Zalibo. Left and right, 2-0 victory. Lethal damage. Let's go. Yes. Are you ready? Branded versus Yubel, begin. And we do have a card in the hand. Oh my gosh. If Luke Tyler summons a Yubel monster, it can only be Spirit of Yubel, Yubel, or the, those two can be fused with the opponent's Super Poly plus Luke Tyler's entire field. Let's go. So what do? Throne popping Spirit of Yubel to summon a Yubel onto the field. We're going to use Cartesia in response. We're going to chain Max C to the Cartesia attempting to fuse. You have non-target monster banish dealing with that Yubel. Be gone. So the field spell ate up a disruption. It worked out. All right, very well done. But it looks like we're about to get puppeted. The puppet is here. Under Max C, puppet. Puppet Max C. So the branded loss is going to be searching our deck, searching for our Albion Shrouded Dragon, as the Gangrenol sends a puppet from the deck to the grave. And this is the end. If you chain link one branded in red when you have a branded lost, they cannot chain anything to the resolution of the fusion summon. And within the window of not being able to respond to the fusion summon, they're going to give you a puppet, and you're not going to be able to special summon for the rest of the turn. Can't do anything here. Nothing. So even though you're maxi drawing per special summon, who cares? You can't special summon. Boom. Couldn't respond to that. Set. It's the only play we could do. We can't special summon Puppet in attack position. Now, if we just put everything to attack, do we have game off of that? Rebellion setting up the Branded Lost. We no longer have the Mercourier to negate the Nibiru, which, yeah. Luke doing the only reasonable thing to do in this scenario after getting Puppet locked, even after Max seeing them. It did not matter. Scooping it up. Piri Reese map. Let's get to it. Searching for our D-Lotus. Let's talk about our disruptions. We have 4 negates on Apollo. We have the Soul of Rage with Chamber, which will link with a monster, and then Little Knight into Little Knight. We have Promethean Princess on Chimera, which will grab back Shavaro, so that's 8 disruption. Phantom of Yubel, which is 9 disruption. Nibiru, which is 10 disruption. And you can't see this, but my toe is up right now for the Eternal Favorite to fuse with the opponent's field if we have a regular Yubel in the field, which the Phantom of Yubel will summon. So 11 disruption. I feel like the count disruptions is kind of cheated by the Soul of Rage being counted as 3. It's initial link, it's Little Knight into another Little Knight. So we are now down to 10 disruption after negating with Apollo. What do? Gold Sark, banishing from the deck the Tragedy to search for an Alubur. Okay, we have our normal summon. The Cartesia is protecting from being targeted but not being negated by Apollo. We're now down to 9 disruption. Can't chain Apollo again. We're going to Phantom of Yubel, negate the Cartesia chaining to the Apollo. Now down to 8 disruption. Pop in the Spirit of Yubel to summon a Yubel. Now the problem with all this disruption is how do we Nibiru and use Eternal Favorite? We need another card in our hand. Ooh, you are reflecting a ton of damage here. Double reflect. We're now down to 1,400 life after double attack. He's just like, nah. No, I'm out of here. Damn. Yubel is double damage. If they get 4,000 damage on the field, that's 8,000 on regular Yubel with the Nightmare Throne that they have to attack with. Nuts. All right, let's take this to game 3. Nightmare Throne eats the Ash. What do we have in our hand? A Branded Fusion. Well, hold the Ash, right? You can't. You can't hold the Ash. You have to Ash. Very well done. Perfect. I talked about this on YouTube last night. That I wanted to see Branded eat the Ash with Throne. And Abomod, thank you for delivering. I love it. Eat that Ash. We're going to banish the Mercourier, grab the Albion Shrouded. Shrouded send from the deck in Albaz. We're going to draw a card. Did we just draw into an Albur? Yes, we did. Eating up an Impermanence also. Is this an outplay? I mean, you're supposed to Imperm Albur. It's correct to do this. And surprise, we have a Branded Fusion. Now, luckily, we don't have a Cartesia to protect our Fusion Summon monster from a Veiler. So Veiler will be able to negate, but we could then follow up Lubellion, get the Albion into the graveyard, set up a Branded Lost, and then the Albion will search for a Fusion card to trigger the Branded Lost in the next turn. Still not looking good. And look at our hand. We had Abomod played through an Ash, a Veiler, and an Impermanence. Triple disruption, and we still ended up on some disruption. Cartesia add back, set up the Fusion card into the back row. Wait, what? We're going to activate that right here, right now. Okay, we're going to reveal the Serenir, send the Titanclad, add an Albaz. And then Serenir is going to send from the deck to the grave a Retribution. Titanclad summoning onto the field a Quem. Quem send in Branded in red. Retribution grabbing the Branded in red. All within the end phase. Is this main phase 3? What is this? Okay, Branded red grab in Albaz. Fusion Shokan into a Lubellion. We did more in the end phase than the rest of the freaking turn. In the end phase still, Quem is triggering off of the Lubellion, searching with the Branded Lost. Holy moly. Abomod, chill. Grabbing in Albion, since we don't have another Mercourier, unfortunately. We have the Cartesia on the field into now making our Mirror freaking Jade. Okay. The Triforce is here. The Triforce is a Mirror Jade, Cartesia, and Quem. Why is that a Triforce? Well, the Mirror Jade is going to non-target monster banish. The Cartesia is going to get the Mirror Jade into the graveyard for a fusion, and then the Quem's going to reborn the Mirror Jade back on the field to then non-target monster banish again. And if we have Albaz in the graveyard, which we do, we could send a Rinbrum to reborn the Albaz to then fuse with the opposing field. Luke Tyler, it's game 3. Where did your hand go? Well, turn 1, we Veilered, we Ashed, we Impermed, and it doesn't look like we did anything, because what the hell is this field? Mirror Jade banish, reborn with Quem, banish again, fuse with our field with an Albaz in the graveyard. It's just like, good luck. Let's go. Luke, what the heck? I did not know it was going to end like that. I didn't know that I was pausing. Had I knew that he was going to surrender right away, I would have waited for the end of the duel before leaking. But okay, good job. Thank you, Luke, for the cliffhanger. Very well done. Abo freaking mod. Top tier, crazy mad lad playing Yubel with Branded. And anyone could do this themselves. Playing the Phantom of Yubel, playing the Loving Defender with triple Super Poly if the opponent has a Yubel monster on the field, plus any amount of other monsters, you could fuse their entire field into the Loving Defender, which could then reflect battle damage equal to the monster it's battling with, and then banish that monster. It doesn't really reflect it. It takes the attack, and then it's going to, bam, burn for that much and banish. Crazy. And we have the Phantom of Yubel, not for Super Poly, but we're playing the Nightmare Throne to eat the Ash. What does Branded hate? They hate Ash. So if you're going to Ash their Branded Fusion, you can't if they open up a Nightmare Throne, which they're going to make a Phantom of Yubel to eat the Ash as they then follow up with a Branded Fusion. So super top tier of Abomod to have this idea to do this. And we are playing against Yubel. This is the day of the new pack, and it made it all the way to the grand finale, and I think it's the most dominant deck within the top 16. Clapping Snake Eye Fire King left and right. I cannot believe it. Are you ready? Abomod's going first. Begin. Setting up Branded Lost, setting Super Poly in passing. So it's all up to Zalibo to simply get a Yubel monster on the field, and then we're going to fuse with the entire field. How do we play around this? Someone's asking, how do I beat Yubel? I don't understand. Or how do I even win the mirror match? Super Poly is how you win the mirror match. Even if you're not playing Yubel, Super Poly is how you're going to beat Yubel if you have a Loving Defender in your extra deck. And let's see if that's the case. I would love to see Zalibo play around this. We're going to pop a Spirit of Yubel to summon a Yubel. We're going to return the Yubel and the Spirit to make a Phantom of Yubel, which you can't fuse with, by the way. We're going to be Spirit Gating, grabbing the Dark Beckoning Beast, summon it, activate search for another Spirit Gate, which we can't activate again. Additionally, summon into the D-Lotus. And we're not fusing into the Loving Defender. We're making a Garura instead. Well, we have another Super Poly for the Loving Defender play. We could double Super Poly. Why not grab a Fallen Albaz? Super Poly is not a hard once per turn. Reborn Spirit of Yubel, activate to set up a Nightmare Pain. Again, we can't fuse with the Phantom of Yubel, so there should be something else. We could fuse with the Spirit of Yubel and the Garura if we wanted to. We're going to grab a Gruesome Squirmer. We're going to be using the Throne because our Yubel left the field by card effect. Adding Terra Incarnate to summon it onto the field. Spirit of Yubel, summoning a Yubel onto the field. And then we're going into a Nightmare Unicorn. Interesting. On summon, discard our Squirmer, I'm assuming. No, we're discarding the Spirit Gate to spin the Garura back. Thus, we're going to chain our Super Poly to that. Let's go. Let's fuse with the field. Get Fusion Summoning into now making a Mood Dragon. Now, the Garura will draw a card after being sent to the grave, come to us, and it's important to note that the Branded in Red has been dead ever since we set it, but now we have an Albaz in the graveyard to use the Branded in Red with to fuse with. Oh my gosh. We can now make a Mirror Jade. And we have a Mercurier plus Mirror Jade. How did Abomod's turn 1 turn into so much disruption? How did we have so many cards to discard with Super Poly after Super Poly? We're going to be adding a Shavara off of the Yama, Squirmer, Reborn, the Spirit of Yubel. Now, we're firing it off. Add Albaz. Use with the Mood Dragon. Mirror Jade plus the Mercurier. We have non-target monster banish plus a monster negate. Absolute madness. We're doing it right now. banishing the Yama off the field. We're going to Spirit Gate, add back from the graveyard back to our hand. Shavara, pop the Spirit of Yubel. No, you're not. I'm going to negate the Shavara. Thus, you now don't have a way to pop your Spirit of Yubel. And why would we do that? Maybe we're lacking resources to make another Phantom of Yubel? No, I mean, we could still make a Phantom of Yubel. We didn't actually need that. Wasn't that big of a deal. We're now reflecting 5,000 damage. Boom. Reflect. Boom. Reflect. And we have to attack. What? What? Wait, what? Typhon? After reflecting 5,000, spin back the Mirror Jade that cannot activate? Let's go. Now, if we banish the Mirror Jade couldn't activate because the Typhon does not state where the 3,000 attack monster has to be. While Exceed summoned, neither player can activate the effects of monsters with 3,000 or more attack. Now, it was spun back to the extra deck, so that's different. We're now using the Phantom of Yubel to negate the Albion during the end phase from sending a card during the end phase. Wow. I can't believe Yubel came back from that devastating double Super Poly play, top decking and evenly matched. That is not going to be good. And just like that, it looks like Zalibo now just wins the duel. Who's not convinced on Typhon? Typhon is here. Typhon is top tier. It has an animation. Lethal damage, taking this into game 2. Should we have Super Poly'd the second one? I mean, it was setting up the Mirror Jade, but should we have waited for a Loving Defender? Should we have waited for a bigger Super Poly play? We have the Keeper of Dragon Magic, which is coping with the semi-limit on Alubur. The Imperm negates it, which is quite costly because we had to discard a card to even activate the Keeper of Dragon Magic. Thus, Abamod setting up a really bad, oh my gosh, Fusion Duplication with nothing to copy. We know that Zalibo is playing the most aggressive turn 2 Yubel deck in today's event. If anyone can lethal on turn 2, it's Zalibo. Up top of the deck, we have Driver, which is no good. We have the Beckoning Beast plus the Spirit Gates. We're baiting out a negate. Additionally, summon into the Chaos Summoning Beast. Should you play Chaos Summoning Beast? Well, I think you should. We're going to Unchain Soul of Yama. Yama, search our deck for a Shavara. We're going to Spirit Gates, which could reborn a Dark Beckoning from the grave. We could discard Shavara, or okay, we're going to battle phase first. We're not doing anything crazy yet. Main phase 2, discard Driver, reborn the Dark Beckoning Beast, further link this up into a Soul of Rage. Sure. Then end, just like that. Okay, keep the Shavara in the hand. We're going to banish the Yama so the Yama cannot be reborn off of the Soul of Rage. Interesting. That works out. Nice. Okay. Now, we are going to be activating the Albion to send from the deck to the grave a Branded Fusion. Now, the way to grab that Branded Fusion is through a Retribution. Okay, so we are going to now, at the end of the main phase, activate the Rage to link off of the Bahamut to make a Little Knight. Little Knight on summon is going to banish a card in the field, banishing the Call by the Grave onto the Dark Beckoning Beast, screwing up our follow-up play. Evenly Match has not been so good for Abamod this duel, drawing it way too late within game 1 and game 2. We're going to copy the Branded Fusion. Even without the Retribution to add it back, we could simply just copy it to go into a Lubellion. Lubellion on summon, activating to Fusion Summon, discarding our dead Evenly Matched. The Little Knight's going to chain banish, but the Lubellion that's banished could simply just fuse with itself. It's field, graveyard, or banishment. I don't think so. We're going to Call by the Grave, finger that Max C. You will not be drawing per special summon. All right. Let's now resolve our play. Not under Max C. How are we going to activate the escape? We can't. Shavara could pop it, then summon a monster from the deck, which we likely are not playing any other Unchained monsters. Making the Albion Branded Dragon, as I said, using the Banished Lubellion to fuse into the Albion. Banish from the grave to make a Borlode Furious instead of making our Mirror Jade. Alubur is here, adding from the deck our Branded Banishment. To battle we go. What? 7,300 damage? Pop Albion, take out the back row, swing in for a further 18, 3K. Okay, we're going to take out that escape first. Sure. We are going to... So this is within the battle phase so that the Shavara cannot activate to pop what we want to pop. Makes sense. Setting up in the back of the Retribution. Retribution can negate an effect that would special summon. And we also have the Branded Banishment, which could fuse after reborning a monster from the grave. Now, the Retribution is not activatable. It's going to return 2 fusion monsters in your graveyard that mention Albaz. We only have one, so that's not enough. We are activating the opening. We're going to be reborning our Chaos Summoning Beast. Now going into Nightmare Unicorn, which I can assure you that the majority of Yubel players are not playing. We're going to force out the use of that branded banishment, activating, targeting the Albion to reborn it because it was properly fusioned with, to then fuse with the Unicorn, making a Quiritis. Goodbye to our Link 3, so we're not going to be able to climb that up into something like an access code talker. We have not yet used our Borreload Furious. We now made a Phantom of Yubel, which could stop the Borreload Furious, now making Typhon. Typhon is a big card from Zalibo today, spinning back the Borreload, which the Borreload cannot activate. It's 3,000 attack. This simply, no 3,000 or more can attack. And what's great about Typhon, they balance Typhon around, you have to use your best monster to summon it, right? It says the highest attack. But in Yubel, your best monster is 0 attack. So you keep your best monster, then you still summon a Typhon. That's crazy. 3,000 or more still cannot activate. We're going to reduce the Typhon to 0, not that it matters. We're making an Anaconda. We can negate the Anaconda with the Phantom of Yubel, which we are doing, which will now allow us to use triple tactic thrust. We can thrust any normal spell into our hand, which will be what? Thrusting a grass-looking green. We have 31 cards in our deck versus 45, so we're going to mill 14 cards off the top of our deck. 14 off the top. I think we could definitely summon a Phantom of Yubel of our own. We're setting from the deck with Serenir, a Retribution, our second Retribution. What? Albion Shrouded, send an Albaz. Phantom of Yubel, as I said, that's right, your eyes do not deceive you. It is an Abelmods branded deck. Grabbing a branded in red to be used with the Albaz in graveyard. The monster we summon cannot attack directly. Come forth and fusion summon into Mirror Jade. A non-target monster banished, but then can't direct attack. So Tragedy is going to recycle from engrave our branded banishment. This is why we just go to battle. We don't banish because we can't attack directly. We have non-target monster banish plus a monster negate plus a special summon negate plus a reborn from the grave and then fuse with the fields. About 4 disruptions at least. Albion grabbing a branded in white, which is not going to be usable here. As we also add back our branded in high spirits. Cartesia add back to the hand within the end phase. We're not doing anything else within our main phase 3. Off the top of the deck, we have Squirmer. Just ending our turn. That's it. We have no real play. There's too much disruption here. Simply going to the battle phase. Lethal damage taking this into game 3. Nicely done. Thank you, Zalibo. I appreciate you. I know you want to surrender. Nightmare Pain, Nightmare Pain. We don't have a dark monster to destroy. Thus, we simply have to pass the Call by the Grave and nothing else. We do have Ash, we have Gamma, we do have Called By, which hopefully will turn into a disruption. Otherwise, we pretty much just have 2 disruption. All right? Dead Nightmare Pain. Now, when the deck starts playing Fiendsmith, they only play 1 Nightmare Pain. We are going to Ash Blossom onto the branded in high spirits. Oh my gosh, it is not looking good for us. I'm sure Abelmod's okay with that. We're simply going to battle with our Alubur. Main phase 2, set up our Super Poly. Again, if we get a Yubel monster on the field, we're... Dad, you're not a dark monster. You are fire. We can't pop you with the Nightmare Pain. What the hell is going on? This is disgusting. Shavara dead. Now, if we're super desperate and we want to finger something, we could Shavara, chain Called By to the Shavara, pop in the Called By. It will still summon. You can't Called By, then chain Shavara because it has to target a set card. Albaz and Alubur into an Anaconda. Okay. Magna Hut banishing Alubur to come forth and summon. We're at 6,200 life here. Serenir further banishing into giving us 5,500 damage. Send from the deck a branded fusion for our Gamma to negate and destroy mate. Just like that. A card on the field just got destroyed by a card effect. Is this now activatable? Banish a light and dark from your graveyard. We only have a dark. Okay, that's not happening. At the end of the main phase, what did I say? Shavara, activate Called By. Let's go. Sure. This is quite interesting that we're doing this. Finger the Anaconda, come forward Shavara, Super Poly, get Fusion. We know that Super Poly fuses our field into a Garura, thus we had to summon Shavara. We had to do it. Oh my gosh, which was only activatable in the main phase. To have that proper foresight of understanding that they have Super Poly, our field is Super Polyable, we lose. Very smart. Got the Brain in High Spirits, revealing the Chaos Nephthys. This is where Zalibo facepalms after seeing that card. We now have a Kit. Come forth, special summon the Kit. Kit, add from the graveyard, back to our hand, then back into the deck you go. This is enough, isn't it? Oh my gosh. 3,000 damage with the Garura to the face. Bystial Magnahunt, Bystial Serenir. Abumod, did you build your deck to completely destroy Yubel or what? Wow. Anti-Yubel, branded Yubel, winning the entire event on the day where Yubel was the absolute most dominant. Insanity. I'm afraid for every other deck taking your idea of triple Super Poly, triple Throne. I mean, I'm guessing you're playing triple Throne. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe you're just playing one Throne. We'll see in the deck list with the Spirit of Yubel, a regular Yubel, a Loving Defender in the extra deck, and a Phantom of Yubel in the extra deck. Essentially, between the extra deck and main deck, 10 cards teching in to beat Yubel and every other deck and use the Phantom of Yubel at your own disposal. Incredible. Top 16 breakdown, 7 Yubel in the top 16. Ain't no way. New toy syndrome, right? Well, where is Centurion? Centurion's a new toy. Why are we not playing with Centurion? We're obviously gravitating towards what is likely to be the new best deck. I hyped up this deck before this came out, and I knew it would be top tier, definitely. I didn't expect it to perform better and be better than Snake Eye Fire King. I do think we need a few more tournaments before we could even state that as a fact, so we'll see. So let's check out the deck list here. Dragon Link, Net Virus, 50 cards, looking good. All right. Thank you, Net Virus. Give Net Virus his Wyver Burster back, will ya? Yeah. Infernoble, 60 cards. FM Productions, are you out of your damn mind? Oh my gosh. Look at that. Something like that. Okay, here's the extra deck, and there's the rest of the deck. Let's see what else we got here. We now have Tech Genis. What? Oh, I thought you were Synchron. You're actually Tech Genis? Wow, 60 card Tech Genis? Unfreaking believable. So there you go. I'm not going to super zoom out. You can just see it through the scroll. All right, looking good. Thank you, Traeger. And then we have Rescue Ace. Nicky Boy. Looking good. Nothing too crazy. We've got Typhon in the extra deck here. Yup. Typhon, new best extra deck card. And then Branded. There's 2 Branded in the events. One getting first place. Abo Mod, 60 card. Of course, Grass looking green. Chaos Nephthys. Triple Throne. Triple Throne. Spirit of Yubel with Yubel. And then hopping over to the extra deck. Phantom of Yubel. Yubel Loving Defender. And triple Super Poly. This is the way. Every deck. I don't care what deck you're playing, unless you get locked out of it. Throne, Yubel, extra deck, and Super Poly. Do it. And then Leonard's. 60 card. We're not playing Yubel in this. And here's the other half. Looking good. Nice. And what else is here? Now, Snake Eye Fire King. So we have El Mary. Thank you, Mary. Looking good. We got Banshee. Oh my gosh. Banshee, Search Poplar. Okay. What else we have here? Nonstop DC. Yup. Got the Gamma. And we have Malkavian V with this. And now, for Yubel. For Yubel, I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to go to the Yubel deck type breakdown. It should already be on the tier list now. Yubel tier 2 already. And we're going to look at it through here. Oh my gosh. Let's zoom in a bit more. I think this is a good zoom in. Piri Reese map in this top 16 deck list. 2 Phantom of Yubel. We're playing Escape. We're playing 1-for-1. Harpy Feather Duster with no triple tactics thrust. That's wild. Playing a random double resonator at 0 attack, 0 defense. So double resonator And Baron freaking DeFleur. Baron DeFleur with Phantom of Yubel. That is so damn spicy. Oh my gosh. Good job on that. And then I'll be shouting out the players right after this for playing Chamber in this version. How many cards were in this? 40 cards, and okay. So looking clean, 1 for 1, no parry Reese map, triple Phantom of Yubel. We're playing Mood Dragon instead of a Garura. We have Typhon. Okay, okay, nice. Triple Spirit, double Nightmare Pain. We're now looking at another deck list here. We have Eternal Favorite with triple Super Poly. Are they all playing Super Poly? Yeah, a lot of them are. Not all of them, though. I think the extra deck we want to look at, too, maybe who's playing Cross Sheep. I think that's too popular to be showcasing that. I think Loving Defender is something we should show in the extra deck, maybe. In the engine thing. Then we have 1 for 1 here. The Mature Chronicle, Loving Defender. Okay. Yup, yup, yup. Not playing Cross Sheep. I think I definitely want to highlight that they're playing Promethean Princess. That's something that we're going to be doing. Yup, yup, yup. Piri Reese map. Sure. Cross Sheep. Okay. So what do you all think are the biggest differences between these decks here? I think playing Anguish or not, you know, Anguish is in a lot of them. Access Code Talker is something. All right. So nice. Good job to all of them. Let's shout out their names real quick. Zulibo. Okay, I was searching the wrong name. So Zulibo, second place. Yup, good job. And let's do this. Zulibo, Luke Tyler, Lemon, Obito Uchiha, Kid Art. Am I a Yubel player now? You're not a Thunder Dragon player anymore. UMC4, YA Astro, and there you go. So thank you to all those players.